Alright, welcome to Space Funeral. As you can see, we just kind of immediately get started. Also, I didn't mention this, but if you go back, you'll see that all of the options there just said blood. The first one starts the game, the second one doesn't do anything, and the third one closes the game. So that's the kind of thing that we're in for here. You can immediately see that there's a bit of what could be described as a grating visual style. I mean, you've got this, like, there are so many skulls in here. Like, all the walls are skulls. This table has a face. There's this guy who just wants us to leave. And also my own dead body. That's awesome. And in case you're wondering, no, this is not a story about, like, the main character turns out to be a ghost, and this guy's telling us to leave because we're, like, dead and we're messing with our own funeral. No, this is actually a bed. This is what the sprite for a bed looks like. And that's going to be kind of a recurring theme. Characters just sort of arbitrarily looking fucking insane. And again, like out here, we've got all these like crying faces on lampposts. Like all the houses are just big skulls. Shit is fucked. Okay, things immediately get started. In a video that's going to be uploaded kind of soon after this, I'm going to be talking about this idea a lot, which is why I'm recording this playthrough. Half, like, to catch my, like, 2 viewers up to speed on it, and also to remind myself and just have, a recording I can go back and get footage from. So, it is said there is one perfect city, a divine construct from which derives all things in this world. All things are manifestations of this one thing. All cities are aspects of the city. But it has been corrupted. You are already doomed. Then he's just talking about how, oh, you should go here, this is the starter dungeon. Okay. So, I mean, it's pretty much just what he said. The Bone Swamp is the main, like, path we're supposed to go on. Did grab all of those bones so we can go through. Not bones. I'm thinking about inscription. We did buy all. I'm not very good at this commentary thing. We found all those rubles in our house, so we could go here. And I mean, we've got some, like, aimless enemies, some. Later on, this color is going to be more associated with flesh. I guess it could be bones. But yeah, I mean, it's all relatively simple at this point. These are very much just the starting enemies. I believe small blood is a healing item. And by the way, if you have played RPG Maker games before, you might notice that something is missing from this screen. I'm not sure if this is just because this is an older version of RPG Maker, but there's actually not an options menu. It just goes straight from... I think it's been replaced with wait, but I don't actually know. Either way, it's certainly inconvenient. I spent like half an hour setting up the audio for this. And somehow I get the feeling it's not going to be the most even thing in the world either way. Do not have any... That's kind of interesting. Oh no, it does say that. Small pack of blood. I was thinking that might be a sort of relic of what the wizard was talking about. The city of forms becoming corrupted. Where all of these sort of items that we're getting, like just small blood, are really something like an abstraction of blood packs. But I guess not, so that was completely pointless. That's awesome. There's a door there. I did not notice that. And suddenly we are at battle with this most fearsome of beasts. So something you're going to notice pretty quickly is that this is not exactly the hardest game in the world. Some bastard has already stolen that item. So something that you'll notice here is that there's a lot of repeated assets in this game. Like the assets are pretty varied in their like individual appearance, but a lot of the time you'll see something that's like a reshaped version of something else. Damn. Like this is a version of like our house or the wizard's house, but now it's just got a bunch of pots and water and spikes in it. And that will become a plot point a bit later. At least the sort of idea not of exactly forms being reused, but the idea of there being a limited number of forms. Not certain what ram heads are, to be honest with you. But that's okay. Damn. That blood wolf is dead as hell. a classic spell, Blood Puke. Use that one all the time. It was a trick. A Joker's trick. Not the best ability in the world. Save that for now, I think. That is a bad letter. I concur. My expert dodging skills have gotten me out of yet another stupid situation. Okay, this is our second party member. As you can tell, his register, like the way he speaks, is pretty different than you would expect from, like, a guy who's just made out of legs in the shape of a horse. It's kind of like a pseudo-Old English type of speech. But yeah, thankfully, we can clear these guys out pretty easily. And this guy is actually also on the same quest as us. Isn't that strange? Looks like he's a party member or something. Which I guess is not exactly the most notable thing in the world. This probably isn't good. You know, probably could have picked an option that didn't ignore defense after going out of my way to use a defense reducing move. But that's, you know what, that's, who cares? TBH. No. No, that's kind of a reach. I was gonna say something about how these trees sort of look like the Scarlet Forest trees. Like the one the man is behind. But I don't know, that feels flimsy. And I do love my flimsy conjecture, but I think that's a little much. Casually rob this poor guy blind. The absolute fool he is. I'll fight this land shark, why not? Who cares? Pretty good, pretty good. These guys are going to be recurring characters. Just remember the formatting of their names. Keep this in mind. I'll buy two. I've got time. So this item here, the old movie, does have an effect. I think it is one that will be explained soon. I guess I might as well sell these while I'm here. Hopefully that wasn't something important, because it's gone forever now. Here. So, as this guy mentions, there are 3 total attacking items. Bibles work against criminals. I don't remember who Hypno Rings work against, and the VHS tapes, or whatever that was, I believe works against ghosts. Here, this is important. Heard an old man once refer to it as an error. No one knows what they were originally. Something which broke or which couldn't be translated during the Great Change. In the world we're in now, we cannot even imagine what it might once have been. That shape no longer exists. What? What? Why am I telling you this? Get out of my sight! So,
when the low, heavy sky weighs like a lid on the spirit, aching for the light.
Okay, the background music for this area is a really long monologue, so I'm gonna not talk during much to keep
which is sadder than any night. When the earth is turned into a gripping dungeon in which hope, like a bat, flutters blindly and bruises its timid wing and tender head against the walls and rotted ceilings. When the rain, stretching down its long streaks of water, imitates the bars of an enormous prison, and a silent throng of loathsome spiders come and weave their webs inside our brains. And suddenly the bells swing angrily and hurl their hideous uproar into the sky like a band of wandering spirits who wail relentlessly.
All right. Spanthan-ass dialogue tree. I do think this is another interesting note. You'll get no more help from me. I like things like this. Come on. Alright, fuck you then. That doesn't seem good. That seems like a negative thing to have. Yeah, as he said, there is a great evil here. Sometimes it seems my blood spurts out in gobs, as if it were a fountain's pulsing sobs. I clearly hear it mutter as it goes, yet cannot find the wound from which it flows. Before I met you, baby, I didn't know what I was missing. Description kind of reminds me of the dark fountains, which do like noticeably pulsate. Don't do that. Fuck. And, of course, sure. How the fuck? Not his finest moment. Philip is not exactly the most powerful protagonist in the world. I feel like I would be more effective if I just left auto on. There we go. Get out of here. You're nothing. The quote-unquote music went away. So, maybe that was the one talking? I don't know. There we go. I do enjoy both goods and criminals. Those are my two favorite things. And yeah, you will probably not be super surprised to learn that in an area where we find a guy who's hiding from a criminal is like our second NPC, there are in fact criminals in the area. So this game is not difficult, but if you want to make things faster, it is a good idea to grab some Bibles, just because they completely annihilate the boss in this area. There's some fucking great dialogue here, by the way. There is nothing to my nature but an endless hatred. Quote from man who has never moved an inch in his life. Help me. No. Should beware his power. He is quite terrifying. Probably should not have spent literally all of my money. Not my finest moment. But that's okay. That's fine. Bit fucked up. Fair though. Alright. And I do enjoy worthless crap too. Ah. Okay. I have played this game before, but it's been, I think, about a year, so I don't remember it too well. I shall return. Or not. I might forget. I don't know exactly where I'm going. Well, I'm pretty sure it is north. Yes, thank you, tell the way. Just, you gotta love the picture of all this. Be unmade. It's quite effective, as you can tell. I don't know what that does. I presume it entrances. Okay, it distracts. But yeah, like, as you can see, there is not much need to go out of your way to get, like, the Zorg cannon and all the best armor and all that. Because, in all honesty, you can kind of just punch things until they die and occasionally use a healing item. And that is going to be pretty effective most of the time. Probably a lot faster than actually going out of your way to do something, like, useful. Such is the cycle of life. So there isn't really much, like, plot important stuff that happens in this area. It really is mostly just fucking around with the various ghosts and criminals for a bit. It's not that long, so don't touch that dial. And I will try and just literally saying, hey, I'm going to try and get to the end of this area quickly, and I just walk up to an enemy and start a fight. That is how you know that you are dealing with a true gamer. I assume those dogs eventually blow up. I have never waited long enough to find out, though. And yeah, you'll be, like, drowning in healing items. Like, you'll be so healed that, like, you won't even know what to do with yourself. Just, like, wandering around with, like, 80 bags of human blood. Just like, man, I wish I had somewhere to put all this blood. Yeah, so I don't know why I put us here, but I believe the last time I played this game, I went that way. It basically just releases a bunch of traps into this area. Mummies, to be more specific, which do, I believe, just kill you on contact. Although it appears that even if you don't release the mummies, they may simply be replaced by comedic skulls. Ow. That was not very much damage, I'm gonna be real. Yeah, this game is not super preoccupied with being difficult. Not that there's, like, no effort being made to make the game interesting, but like there's not much being put into making the actual like moment to moment gameplay interesting. It's mostly just like, wow, look at all this crazy shit. This guy's wearing pajamas. That's fucking nuts. Here's like the 80th copy of the same guy. You know, and so on and so forth. Oh. I'm missing something. I was. There is presumably an NPC somewhere who would have explained that. But I have ignored completely. That was foolish of me. Man. Alright, it's him. It's Rip the Blood, the king of crime. There is kind of a theme of, like, poetry going on with the bosses. Get fucked, by the way. But, like, we had that one blood ghoul, or whatever it was called, who was obviously reciting a poem. That guy... I think we have to do this to progress. Okay, I skipped it, but notice how Leghorse did have a fondest desire. There we go. He's looking for his true form. But, like the Djinn says, the problem isn't that he's not in his true form. He very much is. His true form is Leghorse, really. The problem is just that, you know, he doesn't like it. He does not want to be the glorious beast. Which, you know, I call him glorious, but it's a pretty wretched state, isn't it? Like, I don't know, man. It's freaky, that's for sure. It is probably a pretty unpleasant fate. And I do think that it's notable that at least so far, it's really only Leghorse who has mentioned, and the wizards, but primarily Leghorse and the wizards who are going around being like, wow, shit is really fucked up. Which I do feel is notable. Just in the sense of, like, they have knowledge that they probably shouldn't. case you can't tell, I am stalling while I do something on another screen. Sorry. Oh my god. Sorry, this is just taking a moment. Alright, I'm back. That probably won't happen again. But yeah, like this guy's saying, Lake Horse is not like an object that has been transformed into like a new form. He is an object that is reflecting something that has changed. Like, it's not that he's gone from being a mirror to being like an orange or something. It's that he's gone from being a mirror reflecting whatever he was to a mirror reflecting this. No. My form. Yeah, please. Thank. I'm trying to find the weapons store. Here we go. My incredibly wise behavior, selling off all of my healing items, but I do think that we will probably get more. Don't trust the heads. Where the hell am I supposed to be going now? Yeah, sorry, I probably could have better researched this. North. There's gonna be some wandering around at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, no, wait. No. I'm not stupid. I'm locked in because I remember that there were these guys here. Alright, and now we are... You know what? Actually, I am gonna go grab something. I believe we need to go... We don't need to, but we can go to the steak place here, and I believe we want to grab the old steak. You can kind of see that there's like a vague resemblance to what things used to be sometimes. Like, this guy is like, I'm not really sure what that is. Kind of like a mass, but like, some of these guys are like rich looking pigs. These guys are obviously knights. Like, we went to a farm and they didn't have cows, but they did have a bunch of steaks. And I mean, this is still pretty recognizable as a forest. Your soul is mine. It's just like every other day of my life. Chasing the stupidest animals imaginable. Yes. Pretty pog. Not super relevant to anything. You could consider it notable that the trees in this game do tend to focus on the leaves a lot. Sort of like the Scarlet Forest trees, which I know I already mentioned, but I do think it bears repeating. Since, the Forgotten Man is very heavily implied to be, at least in my opinion, very heavily implied to be like something that has lost its form. Alright. So, this is interesting, right? Like, I mean, on one hand, we've got the parallel of this guy being a prince who's pretty much alone in this, like, warped, twisted world. But that's interesting, that phrasing. I like to think I was a just prince. It's not super clear how much he remembers of his past. Oh my god. And then this guy is kind of lyrical. By the way, you're dying now. That's interesting. It's snowing here too now. I wonder why. If that means anything, or if the developer just... No, it's even in the battle menus. Huh. That is a pretty nice looking effect. Although, I'm not really certain what to make of it. I'm looking around because there is another area I have not entered. See, that's why I went to get the steak. Like, you can kind of see what's going on with this place, right? Like, oh my god, Bubsy. I did not notice that. Intriguing. I guess the planet is just, or the land is just called Space Funeral. Intriguing. I'm sure that would be useful information if I had not already beaten him to death. It's even snowing indoors. Oopsies. Just casually absorb that guy into my being. So, like, not even these guys know what the bets are. Which I may have already said several times. Oh, great heavens. It's some sort of terrible beast. I'm not even gonna bother. Just beat the shit out of him. Got him. So these guys are sort of too fast to avoid, but I don't think it really matters all that much. They can't do much against my overwhelming power. It's probably for the best. It is quite late and I am recording this. So I would prefer not to get stuck in a bunch of random battles that aren't really relevant to anything. So I'm presuming that if anybody ever watches this, it's primarily going to be other Tumblr users. And you will probably recognize this game from this scene specifically. Good evening, I am Count Dracula. How are things, Dracula? Things are very good, yes. Would you like some wine? I do not drink wine. Is that your piano, Dracula? Yes, I have many pianos. I like to play them in the evening. Do you know many songs, Dracula? No, I simply make it up. I guess you could say you vamp. Very good, yes. What do you do, Dracula? I am Dracula. What do you do, Dracula? I like to drink the blood. Anything else? Well, you like to smoke weed? Yes! I got like 2 sentences into that, and then I realized that I do not remember what a vampire accent sounds like. Also, I do think that it's interesting that the guy said that nobody has ever returned alive from this manor. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or is that just because nobody's ever actually gone there and they just got clobbered by the various beasts? Please? Yes. Alright, so now... Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go back and read that text. Going to the City of Forms is just labeled as proceed, and they proceeded, I think. Also, hey look, it's more giant scarlet trees. Hope you like Eye Strain, by the way. This place is fucking terrible. This is not a good place, Philip. I noticed, yeah, I noticed. So yeah, as you can see, this is the sort of location that existence gets its form from. It's kind of a shit show at this point. I mean, we've got like random chunks of what looks like Leghorse. These don't even have collision. Here's like the corner of a bookshelf. Like the vague concept of a beach. This is just a fucking sprite gallery. Alright, here we go. Final boss. Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the City of Forms, now formless. What? Who are you? Can you be... Yes, I am Moon. It is I who have corrupted the city. Many years ago, time passes so queerly here. I was an artist. I sought perfection in all things. So, seeking to be inspired, I traveled to this city, a place of pure form. It was perfect. It destroyed me. Nothing could be created which was not a pathetic mockery of the objects of the city. The finest works paled in comparison. In the face of such beauty, I felt corrupted, animal. Our world meant nothing. We were all graceless, creatures of slime. I was practically comatose for months when I realized what I had to do. So you turned the city and world into a grotesque mockery of itself. Don't you see? The perfection of the city left us impotent. We have to destroy that we can build again. It's still not enough, you know. Even now, I can feel echoes of that perfect world in the chance permutations of our broken copy. Perhaps another great change. Yes, and more until it becomes self-perpetuating, a ceaseless chaos of forms. Perhaps I already have. Perhaps we've had this conversation many times, you and I, with places exchanged. Perhaps, but it stops here. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, motherfucker! God, she's so fucking funny. Also, Look at this fucking, like, Godzilla creepypasta ass sprite. This thing is awesome. Do you have the. Oh, do I not have it? Did I only get one of those? The blood root? Well, that would suck. Okay, that didn't do anything. And I don't have anything else. I think I may have sold it at some point. That would suck. So yeah, this is the closest that I think we are going to come to, like, an actual enemy. Like a thing that functions as a boss. Never mind, she's fucking dead. She's just a pile of broken pixels now. That's awesome. Like I said, the difficulty is really not the point. Is this a unique sprite? Or am I just looking at it wrong? I'm not sure. I think we may have seen others like it in the desert city. We did it, but the city hasn't changed. It will. It's collapsing as we speak, sliding back into the entropy of perfection. Quickly, Philip, let's get out of here. Enjoy your perfect world.
Hey, Mr. Jim, I can see the shape you're in. Finger on your eyebrow and left hand on your hip. Thinking that you're such a lady killer. Think you're so slick. Well, alright.
And that is Space Funeral. That is all of Space Funeral. Now, for closing thoughts, I think that there are some interesting parallels to be drawn with Deltarune. I think that there are a few things in there which, while not echoed exactly in Deltarune, I do think feel similar. In particular, I feel like Moon's whole thing with destroying the perfect city of forms, I think it kind of aligns with both Susie, like, literally destroying part of Deltarune's sort of city of forms parallel by smashing the last part of the prophecy, and I think it also has to do with the weird route and how the player is sort of trying to break that form. The like the basic form of the game's story. I do think that it is notable that the weird route, even doing the weird route, which I don't think Rouse is present for most of. Like, he's not present for most of the weird shit, anyways. But that is what provokes him to have his little moment in the ending of chapter 4, where he's like, even if we did stop the prophecy, who's to say that it, like, something even worse wouldn't happen? And I think Moon in this case is kind of an embodiment of that. Like, maybe not an embodiment of what would literally happen, but I think an embodiment of what Rouse feels would happen. Like, for Rouse, the prophecy, the city of forms, it is his. That is how he understands the world. that is how he sees everything. Everything is a reflection of the truth of reality of the city. So maybe Rouse is sort of representative of, you know, maybe Rouse is sort of representative of Moon while she was in that comatose state she mentioned, where she was so, like, imprisoned by her thoughts and the idea of how perfect the city was and how pathetic she was in comparison. I do think that there's a parallel there between, like, that Rouse's perception of himself and, like, well, I guess his perception of himself as, like, the hero in the prophecy, and his perception of himself as something, like, completely worthless who can only play that role. And I think after that, I think you could make an argument that Susie and the player kind of, sort of, are like the two next phases in Moon's story. Susie obviously would be the sort of, like, lashing out, the breaking of the forms, the breaking of the world, really. Because you saw what this world was, what it fundamentally, like, was required to be almost, and you didn't like it. You looked at it and you thought, that's fucking stupid. I could do better. Um Although I think in Susie's case there is a bit more of, like, a creative impulse there, like a we will write our own story kind of thing. Whereas with Moon, it's a lot more like, I will destroy the prophecy, I will destroy the world so that nobody has to suffer like I have. So that this perfection, this beauty that constrains us, will no longer trap us. And I would like to think that Susie would, try at least a little bit to make the world a better place. I think if anybody in Deltarune is likely to go out of her way to help people, it would probably be Susie. But I think what actually happens in Space Funeral is a lot more evocative, really, of the player's role. Where, like Moon says, right, the prophecy, not the prophecy's in a different game, uh, but the whole plot, the whole idea of these two heroes returning to the City of Forms to defeat Moon seems very, like, receptive to, or at least, or, like, comes up with the thought that this is not the first time this has happened. This is not the first time that she has been here. So it ends up as kind of like an eternal recurrence thing. And I think that is a bit more like the player, and I also think a bit more like what's going on with Chris. Because, and I don't know if this is like a mainstream thought process, but to me, the egg room in chapter 4 really, really seems like it's implying sort of a time loop structure to the story. Like, the poor kid is, like, going through all of this again and again and again and again and again. Not necessarily because, like, well, okay, they're going through it. They're trying to see the shape that things take, but they're never quite able to grasp the full picture. And by the time that they do, all that's left is just a smear, and it gets covered up. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. It's quite late while I'm recording, but okay. Basically, I think that Rouse, Susie, and the player can all be seen as sort of different parts of the same, like, line of thought that are all in sort of different levels. Like, Rouse is very unwilling to change the status quo. He doesn't want to. Well, he wants to, but he doesn't. He actively tries to avoid things like thinking about what he wants. Because, as far as he's concerned, as of the City of Forms, like, he should not have a role beyond what he has. So, I think that goes into Susie's, as Rouse says, naive hope, where it's like she sees the city, she sees what it is, and she starts to sort of push back against it. And I think that the player is kind of where that line of thought is ultimately going to lead if Susie isn't careful. Because it's like, yeah, it's all well and good to try and protect your friends and bring hope or whatever, but you can't be like, okay, uh, sorry, like I said, really late. You can't be like, okay, I have all of this power, I have this ability to change the world, and I'm going to do only what I want with it. Like, that's inevitably going to go wrong in some way or another. Because, like, maybe you aren't, like, pure evil or whatever. Sure. But if you have power like that, if you're like Moon was and all you can do is just fuck around and never have any real consequences for finding out, at some point, you're gonna hurt people. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think that I am going to end this recording now. And probably, well, actually, probably go to bed. Um, but also start, like, thinking of the actual script for this video I want to do, which will hopefully be a lot more coherent. Okay, bye bye.